We're going to make apple crumble. You'll need a dish that's reasonably deep, holding the crumble itself, a saucepan for cooking your apples, and I'm going to make a batch of crumble because you can keep it then in the freezer. And in my bowl I've got 450 grams of plain flour and 220 grams of margarine, block margarine, cut into small pieces. Can you see? Cut into little chunks. I usually do that by cutting the margarine into slices that thick, cut the slices into pieces, and then just cut across again till I've got these little pieces. Then that is going in the mixer, and I'll bring it back and show you when it's like breadcrumbs. Put it in the mixer with the K beater. That's the crumble now. If you look at that, it's mixed. The fat and the flour are mixed in, and there's no big lumps. It's just, which you can do with your fingertips, but it's much easier with the mixer. Now mix in the same amount of sugar as you had of margarine, which was 225. Stir that in. Oops, without spilling it preferably. Right, and that is your crumble. That's made, it's ready. Now the apples, I've prepared some of them ready so we don't have to take so long. Cut your apple in half, down onto the board. Always cut down onto the board so you don't, no danger of cutting your fingers. Then use a smaller knife, take out your core, take off the peel. Then the apples are just going to be sliced into the pan. So you just slice, hold the apple and slice it into pieces. And it goes straight in your pan. Now I've done these ready, so I'll just lift these from, I've kept put them in water so they didn't go too brown. I've got here about 1.5 pounds of cooking apples. And all you need as regards water is about 3 tablespoons. It's just enough so that they don't actually stick to the bottom before they start to cook. And into that you want to put about 50 grams of sugar, but you need to taste it at the end because it depends on the apples, you might need to sweeten it a bit more. Sugar in with the apples now and a small amount of water, and I've got a few sprigs of lemon geranium here which make the apple taste really nice. You don't have to put that in. If you haven't got it, you could put some lemon juice or something in, or some cinnamon, anything you like to flavour the apples, or you can just leave them plain. We're going to put them now on the cooker, and just as they start to cook you need to stir them so they don't stick to the bottom. Move them about so that they're not going to catch on the bottom. Right, you can see now that the apples have started to cook, so make sure you keep them moving about in the pan so that the ones that are uncooked get to the bottom and start to cook. Should take about 10 minutes probably. You can see now that there's still a few chunks of apples, but mostly it's cooked. So turn it off. Now I put that lemon geranium in, so I've just got to fish that out now. That's why I leave the leaves on the stalk, and then it's quite easy to get it out. With 3 pieces. Then you can check the apple for sweetness. And if you need, you see now they're cooked, but they're not too sloppy. There's still one or two quite firm ones. So they go straight into your dish now. Don't make them too sweet because the crumble's sweet. There we go. Just spread that out. Flatten it down. And when you put the crumble on, it wants to cover the apple, but it doesn't want to form a dense top. So you take a spoon at a time, tip the crumble nearer the edge to start with, just sprinkle it on, don't press it down, all the way around the edge. A couple in the middle, and then just use the back of your tip of your spoon to just go across and level it off, but you're not pushing it down, you're just levelling it off. Make sure the edge of the dish is clean, and then it's quite likely that some of the juices will bubble up the sides. So to save your oven, to make life easier, put it onto a tray, and then anything that bubbles over will go onto the tray. That now goes in the oven at 180 for about 20 minutes. Okay. Right, this is the finished crumble. It took about 30 minutes, sometimes it takes a bit longer. Just wants to be nicely brown on top, and you can see the crumble is just beginning to crack a little bit, but it's nice and fluffy. Okay, I'll serve one portion out and then you can see. Right, as you can see, it's quite easy to get the spoon in, and you've just got a lovely lot of apples and just a small amount of crumble on the top. What could be nicer?